I was fortunate to study with Dr. Inglefield for my master's degree at the Peabody Conservatory. And during that time, she became a wonderful mentor and friend to me as well. Ruth was incredibly supportive of all of the students in the program at Peabody, and she really had a good sense of what each student was capable of and what they could do to reach their full potential. So she was a wonderful mentor in the sense that she didn't believe that everybody needed to have a cookie cutter career or do the exact same things to be successful. I also remember telling her that I just absolutely dreaded doing competitions. By that point in time, I had done a handful of competitions at the national level, and they were just completely stressful and really gave me a lot of anxiety. And I just thought that I was maybe going to be a failure at music if I didn't compete. And she took me aside and said, listen, there's so many different ways and avenues for you to have a career in music if that's what you really want to do. She taught me so many things about how to play the harp and how to think about music in very new and unique ways. And she taught a lot about how to teach the harp as well. Ruth's whole approach and methodology to teaching really influenced how I teach today. And her whole philosophy was that everybody has a uniquely shaped hand, a uniquely different way of positioning themselves at the harp to play, a unique way of approaching the tone qualities of the instrument. And that's something that was really revolutionary for me at the time as a graduate student, to hear that, no, we don't necessarily need to all fit into one technique or the other technique, but that we can really mold and blend schools of thought from both sides to make a technique that works for us individually. One of the things I most admired about Ruth was that she was very passionate about the harp and promoting new music, but at the same time, she also had a whole lot of other interests outside of the harp and the harp community. She was very devoted to her family. You could just tell the way that she talked about her kids and her grandchildren especially. I remember Ruth as a highly intelligent, incredibly witty, and very down-to-earth person. And in fact, she was literally a down-to-earth person. One of the funniest memories I have of my time at Peabody was sitting in her studio for a lesson, and she came rushing in a little bit late, and she was dressed in her clothes that she used to work on her farm. I don't know if a lot of harpists know this about her, but she actually had an alpaca farm too, and she was a very high in demand judge for alpaca competitions. And the image in my head of her just rushing into the studio in the shoes that she was using to muck after the alpacas, her pants were a little bit dirty. It was just the funniest memory I think I have of almost anybody in my life, where her two worlds that were really quite opposite from one another, the really kind of fancy highbrow world of the harp and the farming world of alpacas really collided. And she was just such an interesting person. She had so many other interests outside of music that she shared with her students, and she really encouraged the development of the whole person too, and not just the student as a musician. I really felt like she emphasized living your life to the fullest potential, not just becoming the best musician that you could be technically. And that has been an invaluable lesson for me. And lastly, I'd just like to say that I think Ruth was a very special teacher in that she really took the time to get to know each of her students on a deeper level outside of music. And that's what sticks with me the most, was the kind of person that she was. She really, really wanted to get to know you as a person and not just as a harpist or as a musician. And some of the conversations I had with her are the best conversations of my life. She was just an amazing person and an amazing individual, and I feel so lucky and so privileged that I got to spend the time with her at Peabody.